Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to RISE 2021. Today we are here to discuss home. Is it a safe haven or a haunting hell? And with me, I have two inspiring and beautiful people who are going to kind of talk on this key topic. We'll start with a brief introduction. I'll start with giving a brief introduction about myself and hand it over to both Raga and Aruna to share a bit about themselves. So I lead data science for India Nielsen, and that's my day job. And my night job is I play a key role in all the diversity and inclusion activities at Nielsen. I've been in the industry for close to 20 years across various commercial, data science, analytics kind of role. And for the past couple of years, have been driving a lot of D&I related activities in my company. Raga, it'll be great if you can share a bit about yourself. Raga, if you can go on unmute, yeah.
Thank you, Nitya. What a lovely way to start this fantastic RISE 2021. Now, Nitya, I don't know how much to say, but one thing I'll say about me is I'm a very random human. I accept everything random, and there is no do's and rights and wrongs with me. And I don't know whether you want me to share my story right now in 2 lines, basically. So I always say that closets, are for clothes, and not to hide your truth. That's something that got quite famously quoted towards me. But, I used the closet very poorly for myself. I hid in the closet. And my story goes, 18 years ago, my mother actually dragged me out of that closet without my choice. It was not by choice. Okay, where I had written a letter to a friend of mine and never posted, obviously. And that is why my mother found those letters in which I had expressed my orientation to a friend of mine, and my marriage was already over. We were separating. The divorce had not happened then. So it was very difficult. And when my mother got to know, and you remember those are the times when even in India, where I grew up, we had no idea what the word gay meant. It didn't exist. Forget about going on Google, which wasn't there at that time. The word gay did not exist. So for me, that option never existed. We were told a society is made up of a biological man, biological woman, and you get together, you marry, you procreate, you have children, and you live happily or unhappily ever after. Nobody cares. Ek baar shaadi ho gaya, khatam, right? So my mother's reaction was instantly to want to kill me. So she stood with a knife over my head one night while I was putting my little kids to bed. And she said, this is it. This is going to cause us shame. It's going to cause us scandal. Who will even accept us now? What about your children? You're selfish. She called me lots and lots of names, and it was a very traumatic time. So I hid. And then because of all that happened within my home, a lot of things happened outside my home as well. When people got to know the community, I lived in New Zealand those days, just so that you know, the community, the wider Indian community reacted really poorly. They abused me. My workplace was very homophobic, passively or homophobic. I lost a lot professionally as well although I'm a high achiever. So that's why I went into hiding for 18 years. It was only last year when I turned 50, and that's my story, 50 and out, is when I came out with the encouragement of my children, I have twins who are 23 years old, my ex-husband, who is our biggest ally, and of course, my partner, Nicola. So this is my story in brief, Nitya.
That's so inspiring. So, yeah, and very touching. Aruna, over to you. If you can share a brief introduction about yourself, and then we'll get into the discussion.
I have completed my graduation from Bombay University and working as head of HR and system administration in manufacturing company in India. I am one of the founding member of Sweekar the Rainbow Parents, the group that bridges the gap between parents of LGBTQI children and strives to build a parallel structure of support system for them. So I am also proud mother of queer child and biggest ally of the community. We founded Sweekar, with the help of few parents and support of Sridhar Rangayan and Sagar. which is Solaris Pictures. This was through Evening Shadows. When Evening Shadows came, during that time, this topic was going on, that to form the support group. And Sweekar is its kind of it's of its kind of group of the parents of LGBTQI persons in India. We do not have any such kind of group in India, parent support group. There are many kinds of group, but parents supporting each other group is not there. And need of it was so much, because we were doing, when my son came out in 2007 till we founded in 2017, the 10 years few parents, 3-4 parents were, we used to go to a children's house, or somebody's house and meet their parents, to sensitize them, and make a bond between them. Then, we thought we should have group. So that is how it started. And Sweekar, it is a safe space for everyone. We are a group that has, we meet every quarterly, and to raise awareness, and to have our children dignified life. Thank you.
Yeah, so what an amazing panel. We have a parent who's out and we have a child who's out, and my niece is out, and mine is like I had raised that my sister's child from day one. And he first said, I'm gay. And this was before transition. And then after 5 years, she said, I'm a beautiful lady. So imagine the journey a child goes through. And we thought we are a very diverse, open family. Okay, we had we are a South Indian family with North Indian in-laws, Marathi in-laws, and we were like, oh, we are very open. But imagine our child also didn't have the guts to kind of come out. And therefore, this topic literally touched me, that, home, how safe or how haunting it can be. And so, Raga, I'd like to ask you, how did coming out, how does it feel now? How do you feel,
First of all, I must congratulate Aruna for sharing what she did and for creating Sweekar. I'm a huge fan of Aruna and Sweekar, and I talk about Sweekar to everybody because I know it is very important for parents to have this kind of support. Parents as well as children, right? And coming out at 50, I cannot tell you, it is so liberating. An onion, I always think of myself as that onion, and all I was living was the outer peel of that onion. My inner layers were all hidden, and there are so much of layers anyway to everybody, to an individual, right? Then you take it as a woman, a minority woman living in a foreign country with the same gender partner, and my partner is from New Zealand. So it's so many varieties. And then I have a tag of a married woman, divorced, then you bringing up children, the same gender partnership. So there are so many layers, and all those layers I was hiding. So the moment I took that outer peel out and I started peeling, and I'm still peeling, I'm still in a process of discovery, Nitya. I don't know when this discovery will end, because each day I learn so much more about myself. So in a nutshell, I feel liberated. Every day I feel that today I can stand up for something more. All the words that I used to say in theory, because we say a lot of things, right? We advise people, we give gyan, but I never applied that gyan to myself. Today I tell myself, I am the person, I should learn to be inclusive first before I talk about inclusiveness to anybody else. So thank you for this platform, because I think this discovery has been a beautiful, liberating experience for me. And now, because of that, I'm able to be a voice in the LGBT. And I don't know how many thousands of people I have spoken to over the last 1.5 years. I have thousands and thousands of messages from people. I'm not saying hundreds, really, thousands. And I think even if I've made a difference to one person, my life is well lived.
So true, Raga. And Aruna, rightly mentioned by Raga, I think that's an amazing start that you have done because I can see even my sister, kind of figuring out where can she get, similar, views. So how did, what are the conflicts you felt, or how did you feel? I read a bit about, what you've written in Equally, but I think it'll be great if you can share, bits from that story that you've kind of called out.
Conflicts, my God. When children come out, parents have so many questions, to us. They will be asking like, their questions, most of the parents have same question, they will be asking like, is same sex is a natural or unnatural, and how can it be when there is no one in our family be homosexual, and how can my child be, and the most common question is, did I do anything wrong growing my child up? They keep thinking that, then will I have grandkids? First thing first is, you being, if my son is gay, then, same sex, then how will I have a child, grandchildren? That's the question everybody has. Then, and, they think, it's a phase, most of the parents think that, it is the phase, or it's a choice. Or, some parents even said that, this is only in the films this happens, or, rich people can afford to be gay, or lesbian. It is not our thing, some parents even say that. Then they will ask like, sometimes, parents are ready to accept, but they will ask like, why my child is gay, should I take him or her? I'm using gay word for a whole community. Yeah? It's not that only gay. It's like lesbian, LGBTI. So should I take them to for therapy, to doctor, for changing? And most of the time that only happens, our intention to create this group was that only because, they get wrong, information or wrong advice from people, because parents, what happens, they have like, suppose I have a friend, who do not know anything about the community. And if my child comes out and say something, from the community, and I check with that friend, and that friend is not LGBTQ friendly, then what, I get the wrong advice, so that happens. So we tell children, you should tell your parents to learn about the things, and if they are confused when you come out, please, we are having this kind of group, and we help each other, and we help, we have parents from the whole spectrum, lesbian, gay, bisexual, pansexual, gender fluid, all the parents are there, so then, they have they are scared, and again they want to know that, how will we tell our extended family, friends, what will they say? And also, some children, parents know that, some children were abused as a child, so maybe because, and abused as a same-sex person, by same-sex person, so maybe that is why they got that, kind of attraction, so all, and then some will say that our religion teaches homosexuality is wrong, so and how, like, how will the society accept them, whether my child will get job or not, all those things, there are many questions.
Can I
Sure.
interject here? I think Aruna has made such amazing points, Aruna. Seriously, she touched upon so many real threads that I have been through. Like, for example, the biggest problem for a mother is the fear. What will society say? Will you get a job? Will we have children? For instance, in my case, it's the little opposite. When people get to know that I have children, they say, "Arey, but you're a lesbian. How do you have children?" मतलब इसका क्या मतलब होता है? That you biologically have you, just because you're gay, does your biology kind of shut down? So there is so much of misinformation. Is she normal? You know, this whole thinking of conversion therapy that's happening, it's not even banned in the UK. Forget about India. That Anjana's case is a very good case example of conversion therapy. Kuch gadbad hai, bhejo hospital. You know, so we are going through these very difficult, challenging times even now. The only difference is we have multiple Arunas in the world, and Nityas, and the Pride Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like what you said is so right. You know, many parents ask, why is it, you know, there is some problem in my child or what? I say that, you know, my son is gay. He can produce as many children he wants. Yeah. It's not that, you know, because your child cannot, produce children. That's why they say that they are from the community. It is not that. They are as normal as and as natural as all of us.
Yeah, I guess I think parents are also scared of the consequences the child may suffer. You know, more than what they are. What will they have to face? You know, which is what I think puts a mental block. And we have been like conditioned since ages. The kind of advertising, the movies that have been shown so far, they kind of don't show this in a natural light. It's only now that, you know, movies and advertising is talking sensitively. Otherwise, they have also been equally bad, you know, in showing people from the community. So yeah, I think
when this question comes, my answer, you know, I keep because, you know, it happens that most of the parents wants to speak to me, you know, so I tell them that, you know, you just give your support to your child and just see that how they flourish, you know. It's only our parents' support is required, and see the change, you know, because you know, child's because acceptance starts from home. If they get acceptance from home, what else they want? My child, he being so close to me from the childhood, you know, more than his father, he is very close to me, and we share everything. He knows mine is also, my husband is Gujarati and I'm Maharashtrian. Ours is love marriage. So he knows the whole story about my love marriage also. You know, we have shared each and everything, except he till the age of 17, he never told me that he's gay. You know? And I really, frankly speaking, I want to agree that I did not know till that day about LGBTI community. T I knew because in India we know that transgenders, that is Hijra culture, but I did not know any other terms, you know. So he is so close to me, but still he was so scared to come out to me. And once he got my support, oh my God, now though, you know, you just speak to him. He can discuss on any topic, and he can, he's now with a full confidence. He can speak to anybody on any topic of community, LGBTI.
You know, Nitya, this is very interesting that Aruna has brought this up, because one thing that you expect from your parent, especially your mother, is unconditional love. So I expected that from my mother. And when my mother didn't show that, we made peace later when she understood. I sat her down over the years, and now she's passed. But that unconditional love you expect and you don't get it, you get the opposite. So what happens, you know, to you, it's like, I don't know, in my case, I can only talk for me. Really a big part of me died that night. I felt that if my mother doesn't show me unconditional love, what am I going to get from this world? And that night, I really felt my life is over. Now I am not going to be able to survive this world, because this is my truth. And if my mother can't help me, nobody else can, you know, and it has a long lasting impact. And, you know, sorry, and like Nitya, you said earlier, Bollywood has shown all crap, you know, like and I'm going to enact, okay, Nirupa Roy and whoever else saying, hey, Bhagwan, ye kya ho gaya, ye to nark ho gaya, ye to mere saath hi kyun hua? So parents become so selfish that they make it all about themselves. I am cursed. So what have I done? मैंने तो कोई बहुत जन्मों में पाप किया होगा. So they make it so much about themselves. Isn't that selfish? Your child has come to you after so much of stress. Hold the child's hand, whether you like it or not, whether you agree or not, hold your child's hand, give the child a hug. Baki dekha jayega. Then find a solution together. That is creating safety.
Yeah, and my son, he tried telling me for 2 hours, and finally I only asked him. Because, just 1 week before, his friend had told me about somebody else's gay to check the water, whether the water is, so that's why, what is my reaction? So he had told me about somebody else's gay, and then that is why I knew that gay, and the day when he was trying to tell me, he could not. Then he was saying what, Mama, you already know, you know it. And, if I tell you that, you will start hating me, or you will be ashamed of me, I told him one thing, just don't worry. Whatever you have to say, you just say it, because there is nothing in this world, or nobody in this world can make me hate you. You are my child, and you will always remain my child, irrespective. And I love you for whatever you say, just say it. So finally, he could not. Then I asked him, I thought maybe HR mind. I started thinking, what is it that he's so scared, not telling, he was scared, shivering, crying. Then I thought maybe he's talking about that only. So then I asked him, oh, I realized maybe he's also gay or what. That's why he's so scared. Then I just asked him, are you, you said your friend is gay. Are you also gay? He just got up and came and hugged me and started crying and asked me, Mama, are you angry? Are you ashamed of it? I said, oh my God, you are saying, you wanted to say this one thing. Oh, you should have just said it. Okay, let's go for dinner. We went to restaurant and we had nice dinner that night.
Beautiful.
That is really beautiful. I think you're a inspiring parent to look at, and I guess that is, what most parents should be doing. And I don't blame the parents as well so much, because there's so little knowledge, I think, Raga, to be fair to your mother, I don't think she has been exposed to
Exactly.
the knowledge. She has only been shown gay LGBT community in a very derisive manner. So how will a parent of that generation even relate to it? Like my mom, she's 90 years old, but she was in the university. So when my niece came out, and when she's finally trans, and like, oh, she's looking beautiful, and she's making a conscious effort to ensure, she'll sometimes say he, she'll sometimes say she, but she's trying, So I think, like how society itself evolves plays a big role. And I guess we can give them some benefit of doubt, but we can give such inspiring stories like Aruna so that they can emulate. I have a question for you, Raga, which is, we've heard what Aruna talked about, how her son came out. How did you come out to your children?
See, that's
your family.
that's very interesting. The honest truth is that you never have to come out to your children. I never had to come out to my children. My children have been brought up in an environment with so much of inclusion, and they have been brought up by 2 women. They have 2 mothers and a father who lives far away, but he's always available. So I always say that my children have actually got a lottery. They won a lotto. 3 parents who love them absolutely unconditionally. See, look at the irony of it, that we expect to come out, right? So I'm expecting that I have to come out to my children, which I never had to. I also know that if any of my children had an orientation towards LGBT, they never have to come out. They will never have to sit me down and say, Mama, I am gay. No big deal. Yeah. I didn't come out to you. You don't have to come out to me. You are who you are. And that is what I'm talking about. That this needs to become so mainstream. When you talk about society, we are that society. We do othering quite a bit. I will say, usne ye kiya, that person is me. So people like Aruna and people like me, people like you, we are that society, and we are changing the narrative together by having these dialogues, by these conversations. And our children will have such a beautiful place to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. There should be no need of coming out.
Exactly.
That is the ultimate aim of Sweekar, that tomorrow that day should come, that there should not be any group like Sweekar should be, because everybody is mainstream and everybody is that sensitized, You don't have to separately have that group for sensitization and all this,
Correct. Very true. Very true. Both of you are like big proponents. What are like, if I go to you, Raga, and then we come to you, Aruna, what are the things you feel we should, clearly do as a call to, like, what is it that our listeners can take from this? What are the kind of things that you would request the teams to do?
See, first of all, I think that whole conversation about inclusiveness should start with us. Let's first understand it. We have over the years learned so much of stuff that are basically opinions of somebody else. So we have to first unlearn, then relearn, and be aware that if we have dialogues or topics which we think are taboo and they don't sit right with us, get out of that comfort zone and say, okay, this is something new for me. Like somebody came to me and they said they're gender fluid the other day, like a few weeks ago. Now, I am from a certain generation. I don't really understand gender fluidity. I made a point to ask many people. I did Google search. I understood it. And then I said, oh, wow. And then I realized our gods were, in the Hindu Vedas and stuff, it's written, our gods were gender fluid as well. So I unlearned something. I learned something new. I accepted it. So to me, I think acceptance within ourselves first, then being passionate about something and sharing that acceptance with the world, making sure that we listen to people, making sure that we don't judge them. These are keywords, making sure there's empathy, because you may not agree, but you have to feel empathy, and that makes us all a better human anyway. That is very important, Nitya. And I'm not just saying this, I lived that life. And that is the most important part of our life on this universe.
Aruna, your views, if we were to kind of ask, what is it that, we can do from a society perspective?
Yeah, as a parent perspective, as a parent of LGBTIQ, I'll say that, I want to tell parents that, a person, no one can choose their sexuality. So, or their gender identity. So as parents, when a child comes out to you, you need to remember that your child has probably also struggled with their identity and suffered like internal turmoil, So keep in mind that most importantly, parents should always know that your child does not want to hurt you. When they say that they are from the community, that means they are from the community. And also, this world does not look at the LGBTIQ community kindly. So when they themselves have a hard time accepting themselves, So their self acceptance is so difficult. So as parents, when we should not feel them more worse, we are so close to them. So we are the ones, like we are observing them. There is they are going through mental turmoil, on all those things. So we need to understand their internal struggle and feel when there is no one on their side, we have to be there on their side, first. And if we are there on their side, that is enough actually. The whole world will be, because what like Raga said, what society is, what we tell society, that is, I'm not going to tell people that, oh, my child is gay, so is it a problem or anything like that? I'm going to, my child is gay, my child is a good human being, and so, whether, and for me, to personally, if you ask me, I don't care what you all think, what society thinks. I really don't care. We as family, me, my husband and my child is so happy with each other and we have a strong bonding. So I really don't care. personally, if you ask me. But then, as a parents, parents should not be worrying about what society says. Society will always say what we feed them. So that is what, and mostly parents should have and like open dialogue with their children when they come out. Be open to them. Whatever they say, they should be that good listener. And even if that subject makes them uncomfortable, I tell parents, when your child first day when your child comes out, if you feel uncomfortable, but please don't react. You can say that, okay, let us speak tomorrow, and you have one day to calm down, try and understand. Your child is going to say something, you can search for it. And now at this age, 2021, everyone has mobile, and they know, how to search. And if they don't, they can speak to somebody, that they can do. And then that's why, most importantly, be non-judgmental about, when your child comes out to you. And lastly, I always say that, the most which I was telling my child, I can give my example, is the most reassuring words are, I love you and I am proud of you, of telling me.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet. I think unlearn like Raga, what you mentioned, unlearn what you've learned so far. And Aruna, like you're mentioning, I'm proud of you.
Those,
and I love you.
there's preconditioning notions are there. There are only male and female. You can marry to opposite sex only. Or, those things, need to be unlearned, Because, when my Abhishek's friend, when he told me about someone is gay, so I asked him what is gay. So he told me in one line, auntie, how you wanted to marry a boy, you being girl. So like that, being gay means one boy likes another boy. So my reaction was, what I said, so what is there if one boy likes another boy? So he said, it's not only liking. One boy loves another boy. One boy can marry another boy. I said, so what? Even though I didn't know anything about it, I never, in my case, I never said that, just because I do not know, the things does not exist. That is important for all the parents.
Nitya, I'll add to this. I love what Aruna is saying. Aruna is basically, we are sitting on the opposite side, right?
Correct.
One is lived experience and one is like, wow, I wish I had an Aruna for a parent,
Yeah.
So, I think that, we spoke about this a little earlier about home. There are three big reference points for us, frame of references: home, our workplaces, and of course, in between that comes the education, right?
Yeah, schooling.
And if we can teach people about love. Children are not taught about love. We taught biology and all that. Sexual education is important, but that it is about love. It is not about sex. That love. And then, I think that my children are a perfect example. They grew up in New Zealand. We have so many friends from diverse backgrounds, whether it is from different religion, different countries, different orientation, it doesn't matter. We don't even bat an eyelid. Well, like what Aruna did. Well, so what? How does it matter? So love is something that we have to teach, that love is all that we need. We forget. People fight saying, "Arey, Nikhil and Raga together." How many people in my life fought that? They were fighting because they couldn't stand love, because maybe in your own life, you're so used to conflict and living in a dysfunctional relationship that to you can't see two people being loving or being together. And that what only bothers you is that they're from the same gender. So that should not be the reason, Yes.
I think education is one big place. So apart from home, education is the other big place, because where you're bullied, you don't have access to go back home and share that as well.
Absolutely. Sorry, Nitya. There's one other thing that I get constantly asked as a parent. Okay, if I was I was in a marriage with a man, and I've seen both worlds, and I'm with a woman for the last 14 years. I've been with a man, raised 2 children. I've been with a woman, raised 2 children. 2 different lives, 2 different views, the way the society views me. So in that marriage, nobody ever asked me, "Arey, are your children okay?" Nobody asked me. Abhi toh, I have many well-wishers who will ask me, "Children okay?" Why? Because they want me to fall. They want me to falter so that they can tell me See, I told you, children need a father. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that. I dare not talk about my problems to anybody because they say, ladke ko na father ki zarurat hoti hai. Why? The father himself may have problems. So what kind of father do you need? You need love. You need two people, solid people. You need, basically what we need are positive role models. Whether it's a mother or a father, two mothers, two fathers, trans people, how does it matter? But people want you to fail, you know, that is the sad part.
True. Very, very,
Yeah,
very,
that
very
becomes
true.
a topic. That becomes a topic of discussion. You know, see, इसलिए ऐसा हुआ and all. Yeah, that is true. Very true.
Yeah.
I face this,
guess,
Aruna, every day. I face this very regularly. I receive messages saying, "Arey, I saw your son here. I told you this was going to happen because his father नहीं है ना life में. Father है पापा life में. Maybe he's not as functional as your father, but hey, you know." Sorry.
True. I guess the other important aspect is the mental trauma associated with it, right? And mental health has become such a big, important issue. Imagine the compounding effect it has on people from the community. Any words of sanity that you would want to tell people from the community? Any words that you would like to say? You know, what is it that you can share basis your experience?
You know, I'm talking to my friends in India right now. Most people are in lockdown. You know, when we were in lockdown in London, even the newspapers, the media came out with articles saying, do not come out to your family right now. Imagine that in lockdown. It was big news here. Why? Because you have to feel safe. Imagine you're confined in a little space with your family, maybe parents, extended family members, and you tell them at that point, because it's troubling you, that I am gay. And imagine if the reaction is so poor that you don't feel safe and they will have a reaction which is adverse and they throw you out of the house. Lockdown, they said, do not. And now that says so much about society that we live in. And we're talking about UK. So my advice is don't come out now. If you're in lockdown, if you're going through a COVID situation, take your time. Find safe people around you. If you're ever going to say something, find safe people around you. Make sure you have a plan B in place. Now, that is a lot for me to say in 2021, but it is the stark reality of our life right now. But if you're out, make sure that you're kind to people who are ignorant, who don't understand, who come across as homophobic, but their intentions are not bad. Make sure you hold their hand and express to them how you feel and let them also unlearn and learn.
Aruna, any advice for people from the community?
You know what Raga said, I want to say that during lockdown, before lockdown, see, I have spoken to close to since 2007, my God, more than 200-300 people, But now, during this, from the lockdown started last year, me alone, I spoke to more than 55 parents. Okay, and that too in just 4 to 5 months. Almost every day, it happened that some children, and it's not only from India, we have parents from all over the world, all the Indian parents living abroad, wherever they are, universally. So children from UK and from US also contacted me, because they, parents were so much after them to get married, come back and get married before we die with COVID. So and many children, accidentally came out. They never wanted to come out, but just because they are locked up with the family, and talking to their partner or something, maybe watching something on the laptop, and so accidentally, some actually planned, they thought nothing to do, so this is the good time. Maybe some children even said that because it's a COVID and anybody can die, even I can die or my parents can die. So before that, so parents maybe those kind people and if I tell them, they might accept me, so that's why they came out. So, even couple were reaching out to us. We are so good couple for so many years we are living together, but because of this lockdown we are fighting all the time. All kind of things were happening, and during lockdown I spoke to children tried to commit suicide, and luckily they wrote message to me saying that auntie, I'm going to do this. And then I had to speak to him for that night, and I told him that anyways you have decided to commit suicide, so why not tomorrow? You can postpone for tomorrow, give me one day, because it was a night time, so tomorrow daytime I'll speak to your mom, your parents. And he was like, he's a feminine, visibly feminine gay child. So he's like, you do not know how my parents are, they, most importantly, they will not even speak to you. All those things. Next day, I said, okay, but anyway, you have decided, so you can do this tomorrow, So next day, I spoke to his mother, and it was about almost an hour call, over the phone only it was. And, the ending conversation was, she was sensitized totally. She was like, there is no, we couldn't see each other and speak. It was over the phone. So she was like, I want to meet you. I want to really meet you because, there's nobody, so long, nobody ever explained to me the way you explained to me. And then she was like, where do you stay in Bombay? And when I told her where I stay, she was like, oh, my brother also stays there. Whenever I come there, I'll come to your place. Then my son lives in Delhi, so this family is in Delhi. So she was like, when you come here to meet your son, we will meet. And she accepted him wholeheartedly that very day, same day, and he sent me messages like, and audio clip, auntie, what magic you did. Totally the scenario has been changed. And I am respected so much, neighbors were calling him by names, parents were calling him by dirty names, all that was stopped. So, this is just an example I was giving, but yes. So I want to tell parents, it's just love your children unconditionally. When they say something like, if they are from community, try to learn the things, what they are saying, instead of talking to other people. Your children are your best teacher. So learn from them, take your time and understand them, and please don't react, because, and it is always that there is the, when your child comes out as LGBTQ, so there is no right or wrong way to express your love. You have to just say that, I love you. That's all. Some people literally will not say I love you. They have to say that, yes, it's okay. You are my child. That's all, So be kind. To parents, I want to say that be kind. And to children, yes, you have to really, they are the best people because they are living with their children, parents. So they know that, when to come out and whether it's right time or not. And before coming out, please seek support from group like us, people like Raga, from the community. You have to have the right support, if at all anything goes wrong, we all are there to support them. And finally, I always say, anything is there, we as Sweekar, we are there, and we will make sure that your parents accept. Thank you.
On that note, we are almost coming close to the conversation. Any last parting thoughts, Raga, which you'd like to share?
Just the only thing that, Aruna said, I am available. I'm very happy to support anyone who needs my support. I'm available on my Insta at Totally Out Now. So it's easy to remember, Totally Out Now. And very happy to support. We also do these small LGBT videos in a minute. which talk about these things in a very funny way. Like, for example, these are all LGBT in a minute. So 1 minute video doesn't take too much time. Nobody will say, "Arey, time nahi hai." We all have a minute. And for instance, there was a conversation about somebody not sending their child to a gay parade. It's because, because of the gay pride movement and gay parade. And they said that, no, if I send my child will be gay. And so then I have a funny comment on that saying that, oh, I didn't take my children to the zoo. I took my children to the zoo, sorry. And now no wonder they've turned into these animals, So these kind of conversations, that's the only way people understand. And what does L mean, G mean, B mean, all that, those LGBT in a minute we have tried to explain so that people can learn it is nothing different. It's just like Nitya, you and I and Aruna, we're all the same, just with different, orientation, and we still are beautiful human beings.
And ultimately, all of us, the goal is same. I mean, yeah,
Sachi.
Yeah. On that very beautiful note, let's thanking you all for joining.
Just one last sentence. Can I say?
Yes, please.
I want to say that children, who get support from their families can flourish professionally as well as physically. They can conquer the world. So please accept your children and support them. Please love them.
Okay. On that emotional note, signing off. Thank you all from all of us here. And big thanks to Raga and Aruna. Feel free to reach out to me as well if you're in any trouble. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Nitya.
you.
Thank you very
everyone.
much. It was really nice talking to you all.